Everybody, welcome into our final Chase for the Championship broadcast here for the now year of 2022. When we started this, it was still actually 2021, but now it's 2022. We're live here at the Creature Comforts Brewing Company tap room right here in Athens, just on the other side of downtown. I got Connor Raleigh hanging out here as well. Of course, I'm Brandon Adams. A little Classic City Lager is flowing right now. And, Connor, this was a day in which I think you and I both have kind of wondered what it would look like. Me, a lot longer than you have, to be frank. It was everything I think I hoped it would be. And, you know, listen, we tried to bring you some of the sights and sounds of the dog walk a little earlier in the parade, and the bandwidth was just not to be had there today. So you'll be seeing a lot of that video coming up on Dog Nation in the time to come. But as someone who got an eyewitness account of it and inside the stadium, I was soaking up a lot of the stuff outside the stadium there as well. What will you remember about today?
I think Jordan Davis, which I think is just so fitting from today. He was sort of the last player to speak, the face of this team this year, and you know, he's from Charlotte. He acknowledged that in his speech today, but his home is Athens, Georgia, and he ends his speech, lifts up his shirt, and has a Braves jersey underneath. Just shows that he gets it. He gets what this place is about. He understands the culture here, a culture that he's played a huge part in building. And Kirby Smart said, "We're burning the boats and we're coming back." This Georgia team, they might not win next year, but this is a program that, because of what Jordan Davis has built, because of what Jamari Salyer has built, is going to be a program to be reckoned with in college football for years to come.
And, Kirby at the very end of the ceremony today did the calling of the dogs thing, but when he came through in what was kind of like a dog walk unlike any we've ever seen before, when he came in there today and did the calling of the dogs there in the Tate Center parking lot, I have never seen that. For those of us who've seen like some of the speeches that Kirby's had of like videos that have leaked out from locker rooms, this was sort of like that version, like where he was every Georgia fan you've ever seen, all kind of rolled into one right there. So I almost feel like by the time he got on the stage and gave the speech, he had kind of turned back into Kirby again. You know what I'm saying? He was sort of like on to the next thing. But before he came into the stadium and when he was doing that there, that was just a really great thing to see. The moment where a guy like this, who is obviously wound so tight, and I mean that in a complimentary sense, and just, so energized and kind of always driven to be on to the next thing. There is no next thing, at least for today. And there's obviously recruiting going and things like that. But this was a day to pause and enjoy and reflect the national championship. And for me personally, I'm glad I got a chance for a moment there to witness Kirby get a chance to do that.
Yeah, well, no, there was a little bit of a corporate feel towards today, not sort of the celebratory revelry we sort of saw from scenes on Monday night, them winning the championship. But look, Kirby said it on Monday. They're already behind. They're trying to make up ground. They got to go out and recruit guys now.
They ain't behind.
It never ends, and it just sort of speaks to what Kirby has built here. But it was a special moment for the players there today. A special moment, really, I think, for the fans of Georgia who really got to celebrate and let loose, have the college football playoff trophy on hand, the coaches trophy, the Orange Bowl, and everything in there. Just a real celebratory day for this Georgia program.
It was. I loved getting a chance to hear from Jamari Salyer, and I think back to the time when Jamari was a recruit. And, obviously we did a lot of things with Dog Nation with him at the time and, followed his career at Pace Academy. Obviously, teammates, former high school teammates with Andrew Thomas, and obviously teammate here at Georgia as well. But, this is one of those guys that I think we were talking about when he was 15 or 16 years old, and here he is now, like the elder statesman, speaking on behalf of the offense today. And it's just sort of a reminder of how fast time goes, to be honest with you. I'm always amazed by how quickly a lot of these careers come to pass. And, what a career for Jamari. I mean, a guy like this who represented the offense today, one of the permanent team captains here, a guy like that will live on in this program's history forever. I mean, I saw Frank Ross today, and I had a chance to kind of speak with Frank, one of the captains of the 1980 team, and really the captain, if you will, of the 1980 national champion. I mean, Jamari Salyer is like the next generation of like that Frank Ross character, right? I mean, he's going to go on to be, somebody that comes back here years later and is just revered, for the role that he played there. It was kind of interesting to see so many of the 1980 guys today on the same, field and kind of in that same sort of orbit with the 2021 guys, because you really do get the sense of the way in which one generation passed the baton to another.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that the 1980 seniors got to raise the championship flag, and I got a feeling that the seniors from this 2021 team are going to have to wait quite as long as those guys to raise the next one.
That's a really good point. We could be seeing them doing that very soon.
But I think today, and sort of the cool thing for me is in the celebration, you hear guys talk, you hear Kirby talk. They understand the history that came with this. And one of the cool things, and I wrote a story about this on Dog Nation yesterday and Kirby Smart mentioned it again today. Julian Rochester, guy's been around for 6 years. He was the only top 100 player Kirby signed in that first 2016 signing class. Now that entire defense is littered with guys who are of that same ilk. And
so I know for a fact I did play-by-play for him when he was a sophomore in high school. So, Julian Rochester's been in my life for longer than almost my wife has. I mean, I've been around Julian Rochester for a long time.
And he's been there every step of the way with Kirby. He was there in 2016 when they lost at home to Vanderbilt. He was there in the national title game in 2018 when they lose to Alabama in overtime. He was there, when they lose to Florida down in Gainesville last year. Multiple knee injuries. Didn't have the career that he probably thought he was going to have, but persevered through it all, found a way to play later on in the season, and really help the guys in that defensive line room. And then to get to celebrate it, I think speaks to what has been built here at the University of Georgia.
I told you we were going to be doing a toast here at Creature Comforts tap room here. I told you we'd be doing that, and that's what we're doing right now. So many Georgia fans here hanging out. We've had a great time talking with them all evening long. A couple other thoughts here before we get ready to wrap up. Had a chance to speak to Zamir White for a couple of minutes today, and I've never seen this side of Zamir in my life. I have never seen this side of him. He was smiling ear to ear. Zamir's one of those guys. He looks like he's always ready to lower the shoulder at any given moment. That's just kind of the way that he's wired. He was all smiles, soaking in this so much. That was so great to see. Nakobe Dean, to his credit, I'm telling you, he was by far the last player to leave the dog walk, because this was not like a normal dog walk where it's the entire team walking at the same time. The team was essentially walking through as they were in these makeshift fire trucks, things like that, traditional parade type vehicles. And so when their vehicle got there, they would hop off and go. And so the team was kind of coming through a little bit at a time. And Nakobe came through. The rest of the guys that got off the bus with him, or the truck, whatever you want to call it, they moved on. Nakobe signed so many autographs, said hello to so many people. He went one side of the rope line, went the other side of the rope line. I don't know that anybody today stopped and appreciated that more than what Nakobe did. This is one of those things, Connor, and you've written a lot about Nakobe lately. A lot of these guys they've really put in the work. They have really put in the grind. And to see them today take that moment, pause, and enjoy it. Obviously, Nakobe for the last time here. But to see them take that time and pause and enjoy it, for me personally, not only did I enjoy watching them do this on their behalf, I was just glad they stopped and did it.
Yeah, and, the four guys we've mentioned today, Jamari, Jordan, Zamir, and Nakobe, those are your four permanent captains for this team. They represent what this Georgia team has been about. And I know for me personally, I've seen Todd Gurley play in person. I was here for most of the Nick Chubb time. I don't think I've ever had more fun watching a player play football than Nakobe Dean. That guy flies to the ball, and as great as he is on the field, and he's going to go be a top 10 pick and make a ton of money in the NFL, he's an even better person off of it. Captain of the AFC all hands team, which is in recognition of guys for the work they do in the community. Josh Brooks is a mentor to his. I'm hoping to get a story on that. Nakobe Dean, if Julian Rochester and Jordan Davis mean a lot, Nakobe Dean also signifies a lot of what this program is. Five-star talents, incredible human beings who put the work in, and then to get them to see the reward, the payoff for that today makes it so incredibly sweet.
I talked to Josh Brooks for a couple minutes today as well, and talk about a guy that's as happy as anybody. Josh Brooks is as big a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs as anybody at this tap room right now. Anybody who's here at this facility enjoying themselves some Creature Comforts and some classic city lager, Josh Brooks loves the Dogs as much as anybody does. He was high-fiving and hugging and doing that kind of stuff. So if you're a Georgia fan, you kind of wonder what kind of hands this athletic program is in. There is nobody happier to see Georgia win the national championship than Josh Brooks. I love to see him today kind of showing his fan side off and just really there to celebrate with anybody who wanted to.
Yeah, Josh Brooks, a guy who served as sort of Greg McGarrity's number 2 for a while, and let's give Greg McGarrity some credit here. Made the very tough move to move on from Mark Richt, the guy that is still beloved, and I'm glad that we've seen get his flowers a little bit here for Georgia, but McGarrity made that move, brought in Kirby Smart, was not always popular for it. None of this happens without Kirby Smart, and, the cheers were loudest for him today. He was getting the Kirby chant in the stadium, and his final words to me, at least in his 10-minute statement there, I think signify what he's really trying to build. He's not trying to get one national championship. Right. He wants multiple of these. I don't want to say he wants to build the next Alabama. He wants to build better than the next Alabama. He wants to do that here at Georgia, his alma mater, and I think we're going to get a good chance to do that.
So 2 final thoughts from me. The 2 really cool moments that I don't think we've addressed yet, and you'll see a lot of this video on the Dog Nation video channels for many days to come. Parade, inside the stadium, everything else. We'll show that to you. But a couple of the things that I just really thought stood out in a very big way. so cool at the end to see that flag going up. I had noticed the empty flagpole when I walked in there. To see that flag raised at the end of the ceremony when the 2021 National Championship flag flew, that was just such a great thing to be able to see. And there was a moment like before Kirby got up to speak where they showed a video that kind of tied a lot of great moments in recent Georgia history together. And it obviously culminated with the national championship on Monday, but it started off with a little bit of Kirby's introductory press conference. And this is one of those things that you can still find online. I don't know that we had a Dog Nation YouTube page when Kirby was first introduced as Georgia coach, but honestly, just search the press conference. You can watch it somewhere. It's one of those things to kind of go back and rewatch that now. It's so poignant because Smart was nervous, and Smart was fumbling over his words a little bit. I don't mean that critical, but he's just a young guy in a big role for the first time. And to think like all that's transpired, where he basically talked about the dream of bringing a championship back to Georgia. And here we are just 6 years into his tenure, and he's been able to do that. To go back and relive that today, I thought that added to the poignance of the event, that the Smart video kind of touched back on the way it all started for him way back. I guess would have been really actually sort of December 2015 when he was first announced. Just amazing to think of all that's transpired in that time.
Yeah, in a way, like it still doesn't feel real. That or it hasn't really sunk in yet that Georgia's a national champion. They've gone out and done the thing. As great as Monday night was, as great as today was, it's really going to take probably a couple of weeks, even rolling into next season, that, hey, wait a minute. There are no more 1980 jokes. There are no more you can't beat Alabama. There are no more Georgia's a sleeping giant. And for Kirby to get here and to do that, and it wasn't always easy, and there were some bumps in the road, but he always believed in his vision and his process, and to see that get rewarded, and to see the celebration today, and I can guarantee when they're back here in Sanford Stadium again on G-Day on September 10th against Sanford, it's going to be similar sort of celebratory nature, and it deserves to be so.
So there's more beer to be had here, so we're going to go do that, but I promise you a chance to toast. So here we are live from the Creature Comforts Tap Room on Hancock Avenue in downtown Athens. Congratulations to the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs, the national champions. To all of you who've enjoyed it, certainly continue to do so, and we will see you very soon here on Dog Nation. Dogs are on top, 2021 national champions. We'll talk to you again very soon, everybody.